Welcome back to SJU. I'm Roxy Striar, and I'm alongside some amazing human beings. He's known as the real E.G. Edgar in the house.
Shots to Eric Goldman.
Eric Goldman ousted. Dang, Eric. Well, he's not here to yell at me, so Eric, if you showed up today, then maybe you'd be the real E.G. Was he even invited? I don't know. Welcome to the table. Emma Fyffe in the house.
Thank you all so much. Here we are.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
Here we are
We're
today.
present. We're at a table.
True.
That is true. Who is also here is Joe Starr.
Hi, also at this table.
I don't know what this new announcery voice I've been doing today. Joe Starr.
I like it.
Pew, 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 pew.
It's good. You should try new things.
Ooh, air horns don't work on me.
Ooh, okay.
Pew, 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 pew.
Sorry, they don't work on you?
Like I don't.
Like if someone shoots an air horn, like you don't react?
No, like people have been telling me that my air horns are not. Pew, 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 pew.
Oh, you don't have a good air horn.
I see.
It's quite ironic that your air horns sound like lasers.
How are you
Given what we're
doing
talking
it?
about.
I was somewhere between lasers and air horn.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, it's like.
No.
Bah, 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 bah.
Oh, yeah. Ba, 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 ba. No.
You need to create more space, like lift your soft palate more.
Ba, ba,
Now you sound like a dog that's about to start talking.
Where is that? Ooh.
It's like a Scooby-Doo. Oh,
Roxy would be the first word a dog said.
Yes.
That is absolutely correct.
that is a good dog first word, Roxy.
Wow. It's actually a lot of dog names. Anytime that I either always, when I introduce myself, it's either always, oh, Stinging the Police, or ooh, Roxy Hart, or ooh, that's my dog's name.
Wow.
The last one isn't my preference. Let's talk
I was gonna
about
say, if it makes you feel any better, our neighbors across the street when I was a little kid had a dog named Emma.
Oh.
So it was a little bit all of their dogs had like human names. It was like Emma, Tyler.
I like a human name on a dog. All I think of when I hear Emma, though, is Friends. So you're in my good
you
graces
and the
forever.
whole world that all decided to name their babies Emma after Rachel did so on Friends. I didn't know any other Emmas growing up.
You know what? Screw this show today. What's your name mean to you?
Well, at least your name isn't Khaleesi or something stupid.
That's true.
Oh,
That's true.
a
I
whole
was-
lot of people wish they hadn't named their kids Khaleesi
Yeah.
before that show ended.
Yeah.
I was named after a literary character, but not.
But you know the conclusion of
I
that
know the
character's
conclusion of
arc.
that character's story. Yeah, exactly.
Joe, where'd your name come from?
The Bible, I think. But
It's a long
unlike the
tale.
unlike the rest of these fictional stories, we don't know how the Bible ends yet.
Stare down the barrel.
Well, no,
Yes.
my name,
Yes.
my name was going to be something like with a lot of syllables because my mom was like going to do that whole like I'm gonna class my baby up thing, and then my dad is from like Oklahoma, and he was like no. So I
What's
did
your
it.
full name?
So Edward Greer, and
No
my
middle name?
Middle name?
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to get doxxed.
Yeah, I don't want to get doxxed, but yeah, it's my middle initial is R. It's kind of a country ass name, but the bottom line is my dad's name is Edward.
Erg.
Yeah.
Erg.
Stop shooting lasers at me.
Yeah, you're very violent.
Well,
But my dad wanted to name me after he didn't like the names that my mom kept coming up with. So for like 4 days, I got home, and for like 4 days I didn't have a name. I was baby for 4 days.
Just baby?
Wow.
I was baby.
baby's
for 4
a
days.
cute nickname, though.
Yeah,
Kept your name, baby?
I wish that I could call myself Big Baby Greer in the house with the hot
Or
takes.
like the movie Baby Boy.
Yeah.
Wasn't that his first name in that
I think his name was Jody and Baby Boy, but yeah,
I
Baby
like
and
that.
Baby Driver's name is Baby
Yeah.
or whatever.
Baby's a cute name. The reason I am throwing lasers at all of you guys today, though, is because we are talking Star Wars. Does that make- Pew, 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 Star Wars. Pew, pew. We're going to be doing some Star Wars show pitches. We also have fan questions at the end of the show, so it is a jam-packed pew pew kind of show today. It actually kind of hurts to pew 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 pew. It like goes in a weird. It tickles. Pew 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 pew.
I want you guys to spending time with my sister, Roxy Striar,
True.
is like watching a kitten discover things for the first time. It's my favorite thing. She'll learn a new noise.
I also am I'm not able to think something and not say it out loud. So that's where you guys hear all of the inner monologue. Let's talk Star Wars, though, guys, because we want to. We are big Star Wars fans at this table. Obviously, I'm the one who watches all of the animated Star Wars series, as we have learned from the past.
And Ed loves everything about Star Wars, as we also
as we know as well. So Ed and I will do the majority of carrying this conversation to help you guys out.
Emma, Fyffe, and I will just sort of fade into the background.
Just kind of listen to what you guys
I know
have to say.
you're really grasping at straws here, Emma. So you like trying to pull from the.
It's true. I have a passing interest in Star Wars.
You are a girl.
Yeah, that's true. That is also true. So you are just at a disadvantage from the start with this conversation. But do the best you can. Emma.
Thank you. I'll try. I'll try.
Whoa, Star Wars is something that I am not well versed in, but really love. So we're going to talk about it today. We're pitching Star Wars TV shows because, everybody's so upset with Disney Plus that they don't have enough content, and Mandalorian Season 2 is not coming till October, and Cassian Andor is coming after that sometime at some point. So we're pitching our own Star Wars shows. Hear that, Disney Plus? Take our ideas and run with them. Thank you.
For free.
For free.
Hey, but at least we have this as we could send this video to the WGA.
That's true.
Be like, hey, we came up with this hot stuff, and then boom.
Yeah, let's try it, and we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how that goes.
So, in terms of Star Wars show pitches, Joe, I am coming to you first. Is there a specific character, a creative team, or an idea that you feel like they really should try to tackle in the Star Wars universe?
Yeah. All right. So here's my idea. I want to do sort of like a set after Return of the Jedi, sort of like a West Wing kind of House of Cards with people trying to get the New Republic organized.
That was one of my pitches.
Oh, joint pitch.
Well, because this is the thing is politics in Star Wars are a big part of it.
Yeah.
And so it would be really interesting to see, and again, and you would struggle a little bit with this because Leia would have to be a very big player in it. Obviously, though, Carrie Fisher, even if she were still alive, would be too old to play Leia at that time, but I would love to see, and she, I think, would be a tertiary character. She'd just appear every once in a while.
Is this a live action show?
Yeah.
Definitely a live action show.
See, I almost go the other way, because I think this is one of your big opportunities to figure out, okay, well, how do we navigate around the fact that, if we want to play in various Star Wars timelines, we don't have all those actors available. So, how do you turn that into wins? Rogue One, for me, I feel like you wasted Ben Mendelsohn for a CGI Tarkin.
I know.
Where you could have had,
Just
so,
Mendo do
how
more.
do you, obviously they exist and they're present, but how do you sort of navigate around? I think that stuff like this is the opportunity to figure out okay,
so
how do you do a
characters?
New Republic thing? Yeah. How do you do a New Republic thing sans Leia?
Yeah.
Where she's present but not in the show.
Yeah, I think that you can't count her out completely just because in terms of the new canon novels, we know that she played a big role within the New Republic. However, we do have a time period where we know that she was pursuing her Jedi training. So maybe that's what it is.
So she's busy. She's doing her thing.
It's exploring
busy
that time period
things.
where she's not present, and we are trying, and we are seeing the galaxy attempt to rebuild some sort of political structure without her, and ultimately it's if it's the sort of final shot of the series is her coming back and being let's get this shit in line.
Yeah. So my thought is you do a more hands-on Westworld.
Just checking in, Ed and I agree so far. Yes. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Agreed. Rock on.
So you do
pew, pew, pew.
because obviously there's a lot of deal making and a lot of roll up your sleeves and get everyone together with building a galactic wide government.
Yeah.
So my pitch is two politicians on the ground. Maybe one's a former Rebel Alliance officer. Maybe one's a career politician, and they'd be played by Constance Zimmer from Unreal, and then Everything, because she's incredible.
Yeah.
And then Rhea Seehorn from Better Call Saul, who is
This is a great cast.
awesome.
I'm glad I thought of it.
I think you have like these two sort of people who are like rolling up their sleeves, and they're the ones that are visiting like outer rim planets.
Yeah.
And trying to get like huts in line and stuff like that, trying to get like things secured. So it's sort of like a more active Westworld, not like we're all in the Oval Office like trying to determine what decisions we're going to make about the situation on the ground. This is more about the situation on the ground. And then clearly they wouldn't get along. Maybe they're sort of in different places, sort of politically and socially and ideally. And then the person holding them together would be a former Alliance sort of turned security officer, bodyguard who's in charge of protecting them, and Cynthia Erivo would be playing her.
I love Cynthia Erivo.
Can you make her sing?
Incredible.
Yes.
Maybe she air horns.
Yeah. She's I don't know if you guys have watched I don't know if you guys have watched The Outsider.
Oh, I haven't, but I hear it's amazing. Thank you.
Everything I've seen her in, night and day different. Every role that she has had is just
She is a chameleon. Like she is able to change it, like every single thing. I mean, she really does, like similar to Michelle Williams, who I feel like is like just so. And Charlize Theron, they like all are able. You don't know what the next kind of role they're going to take. She really does. Transform.
But I think something like this could follow that success of The Mandalorian, where you can sort of do a monster of the week. Except it's Planet of the Week, Warlord of the Week, Situation of the Week, with an overarching sort of connector.
Yeah.
All right, Emma, did you?
I have
sign
another
off?
pitch. Yeah.
So
my main pitch. Actually, I hate to keep going to time periods we've already kind of lived in, but this again is something that we've only really seen in animated series, specifically Star Wars Rebels. What I would love to see, and you could expand this even throughout the entire original trilogy and beyond, is
That's what I was thinking.
Story that is about the lower levels of Coruscant.
Yeah.
So the way Coruscant is organized,
I thought you were going to say space whales, but cool.
Yeah, space whales. That was my other pitch. It's just like Enya music and space whales.
And how does Coruscant operate?
Just Star Wars CBD.
Coruscant's like it's got the rich people on top, and poor people on bottom, sort of situation. So we never really go all the way. Like you notice how when Anakin jumped out in the prequels and he fell real far, he never fell down into the ghetto.
Yeah.
He fell right into the skyscraper level. He didn't fall all the way down because that would be death.
So I want to see a story that is about like the oppressed people that live in the lower levels of Coruscant and how they are dealing perhaps internally on Coruscant with uprising against the 1% that live in the upper levels that are at this point, of course, all like Empire loyalists, but then also dealing with the fact that, you probably have sort of a middle class there that has torn allegiances because like their lives are pretty okay, but they have some questions, and I think that you'd have an insider character who sort of is helping the uprising that's happening amongst the poor folk, and that character, I don't know if she would be like the sort of level of like an Agent Callus in Star Wars Rebels, who ends up being a spy for the Rebels and a traitor to the Empire, or if it's more like they're somewhere in between and they just like have sort of a regular job in the middle levels, but whoever that is being played by Gillian Anderson, because I just want her in everything.
Yeah, sure. I dig that.
I like that idea a lot, actually. Like what does like resistance look like when you're a male clerk?
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of cool. It's like you're not like a high-ranking like commander in the Imperial Army.
Totally.
That's like but yeah, like how's the janitor do their part? That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's really kind of cool.
Yeah, and you could obviously have like an upstart sort of organization that and maybe even bringing up the idea of, okay, well, can we change the status quo, and seeing a lot of people that are hopeless and feel like they can't, and just again, it's like a more personal story uprising, but we can follow the stories of a bunch of different characters very similarly to The Mandalorian, except for maybe not focused on a single character, who then all eventually come together to rise up against the Empire.
Yeah, I think that's such a fun idea too, because I've been thinking about that ever too since like in the Trevorrow script dealt so much with like a Coruscant uprising and stuff like that. But I do think there's a cool idea where it's like not everything is just the rebellion and the Empire. Like, what does it look like I mean, you can even lean into like the idea like the Black Panthers and stuff.
Totally.
Like, what does it look like when a neighborhood just says like,
and also,
okay, we're going to police ourselves? And,
by and large, we are told that the Empire is bad, and we see it a little bit, but I think that you just have a really great opportunity here to show just how bad things are, or how not bad things are from a certain point of view.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very Star Wars.
What do you got?
Well, I've been ruminating on this question because, for years of 20 minutes.
Fourscore and Star Wars years ago.
Well, actually, that's kind of a precursor to where I'm going with this. You know what? I am done. I respect you guys' pitch, and I like it, and I would watch it. I am so done with the time periods. I'm done with the past. I'm done with right before the past. I'm done with it. So it's like 1,000 years in the future. And Baby Yoda is 1,000 because he learned that drinking kale smoothies and doing push-ups and stuff made him live longer than Yoda, because Yoda was like 900 when he died. I think we're so far in the future, and I think we need to deal with the way that the Star Wars universe is constructed. The Star Wars universe is basically the antebellum South with droids. People still have slaves. It's cool.
But it's
droids are their
droids.
slaves, and they're cool. No, but the people have slaves and droids. They doubling up on the slavery in Star Wars. They got double slavery in Star Wars. So what does that place look like 1,000 years hence or 800 years hence, where people are driving around with Empire flags on their trucks, talking about the final order, fighting against the rebels? That was about states' rights, and they're talking all this crazy dumb crap because they don't remember what it was actually like during how racist and terrible, racist as far as all races, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Grand Admiral Thrawn can't really join the Empire because he's blue, and all these space Confederates don't want a blue guy leading them, and Palpatine has to hide him away. There's all these things that are hinting at, unrest in those times. So I figure there's a future, and at this time, we're going to try to make the society a modern society finally. I know it's 1,000,000 years ago. It's 1,000, it's, what is it? Many years ago in a galaxy far, far away. Well, now we're up more to now our woke times. So now this is my woke Star Wars. And basically what I want to do is like the Dirty Dozen. I want people who are either slaves or marginalized people all throughout the galaxy to be sought out by one figure that's trying to make them almost like a Dirty Dozen to to change society as it is, to graduate it.
Put them on one ship kind of thing?
Well, maybe not put them on the one ship, but
they're forming a team.
Yeah, we're forming a team, right? We're forming a team, and what we're going to do is do something
Guardians
big.
of the Star Wars.
Yeah, well, we're making a team, and we're going to do something big that will take down the new big bad that's trying to reinstitute these old ass ideas and reinstitute some of this old Star Wars stuff. Like, it's okay to have slaves. That was overblown.
Or like it's fine to have free labor from droids or things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now that droids have 1,000 years hence, there's probably their AI is fantastic at this point. I mean, if C-3PO feels pain and fear, imagine what droids would be like in the future. They'd be a whole cast of society, and it'd be about.
I might be a droid.
Yeah, with your pew pew sounds and not ability to beatbox. I mean, we know you're not an NPC. But no, I mean NPC beat machine. Anyway, so what I'm saying is yada yada yada. Florence Pugh is my only bit of casting. I love Florence Pugh.
Yeah, that was good, Roxy.
That was great.
That was great.
My initial reaction was just to push this chair.
I liked it.
I get it.
So yeah, I think overall, it's
Florence
a band
Pugh
of.
is another one who should be in just everything.
She should be in everything.
Yeah, no matter which of these shows gets made, Florence Pugh is in it.
Yeah. So I just think a band of rebels is trying to basically defeat some big bad that is trying to reinstitute old crap like that and enslave people and bring things back to the good old days. They want to make the universe great again, sort of situation. And they're trying to do that. And so this group of people who are either criminals because they've been criminalized by this new society that's coming up. They're trying to reinstitute these old things.
I like that.
So it's like a Dirty Dozen, right? These people who are criminals because society is wrong are being broken out by a mysterious figure, and we find out the Professor X of trying to get all these people together to make this strike team. It's because they're all Force sensitive, and Force sensitive is almost like old. Like after Rey died, there was no more Force people for a while or something like that. There's like this real paucity of the Force. We have to work it out ourselves. There's not going to be some magic power person to save us. So basically, Baby Yoda, select kids who move brooms, who don't even know who they are. People like that are being born, but there's not really any development of the Force because we're becoming more secular society, getting farther and farther away from your ancient religion, you know? And so Baby Yoda is the person that's trying to gather up these other Force users to make a big Dirty Dozen team. And Force powers have evolved because they evolved from being able to levitate some stuff to Force lightning to dyad powers to teleporting me a lightsaber to you and all this type of stuff. So imagine the Force powers 1,000 years hence, and imagine Baby Yoda in full straight Mandalorian armor. Full Mandalorian armor.
Except he's
Old
like
man Yoda.
And he's little. I'm telling you, they pan over to this, like, the music, the John Williams music swells, and the camera pans over to a door opening, and then they have to pan down because Baby Yoda's so little.
Ben Goranson's music from The Mandalorian.
Like some kind of mashup made by Junkie XL.
I was like,
I'll match it up, don't worry.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
perfect.
Oh God! Whatever.
So, yeah.
I really like that idea of like forcing the concepts ahead by 1,000 years because it's like
Forcing.
Roxy, you're on fire.
I am unfair.
It's
because
kind of
like enough time has passed where it's like maybe that evolution of the Force is that it is used to whatever like huge version of the Force now is used to maintain that status quo.
Yeah.
I think, and then the droid thing is always super interesting to me. Where at this point, I think it's like there is a society of droids. Like you've gone full.
Droid?
Remember the Animatrix where they do the shorts about like here's what happened when AI rebelled and they formed their own island and stuff. There's probably a sector of the galaxy now that's just like droids. No fleshies.
Yeah.
Like,
There's probably sectors of the galaxy where it's dangerous to be a person because the hate that hate produced is quite wild.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
The hate you give.
Yeah.
Droid style.
Yeah.
I kind of love that pitch, actually.
Yeah. So I just feel like it would have like some fan service with Baby Yoda being able to be old to be like the way this is, you bastards, or whatever he says to
Old
the
man
kids.
baby.
You bastards you are. I've got one for you guys. Thank you. I'm so good at my Yoda voice. Is anybody watching Love is Blind?
No, I'm not, but I've been told I
fascinated
need
by
to.
where this goes,
but I
though.
can't wait to hear this.
Yo, what Unreal did for The Bachelor, this will do for Love is Blind. Premise being all different characters from Star Wars universes are dating through a wall. You don't know what the other person is on the other side, and that you have to get engaged by the time, but you can't ask. You can't ask what they look like. You can't ask about their past in that kind of way, and then we'll know which Star Wars love will stand the test of time, and if love is truly blind.
I mean, this is the only thing I want to see Donald Glover as Lando do. I think this is the next young Lando project.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So that's my pitch.
Yeah. My other pitch, of course, is just Babu Frick droid repair show.
You and the rest
Just
of
an
the
actual
planet,
okay, so on Netflix there is I can't remember what I think it's just called like The Shop, but it is the driest old thing where like a lady will be like, hey, we've had this accordion in our family for years and the accordion no longer works, and they take it to the shop, and the shop is just all these old grizzled British dudes who are like, I'll fix accordions. And it's just a dry ass like fixing an accordion. And
now in my head, Babu Frick's got a whole team of puppets that fix droids, and they specialize in different ones.
And I just want to see that show, but with Babu Frick.
Yes.
Where he's like,
I had an accordion growing up.
Did you really?
Explain. I want to know more.
I just did. I did.
I just did.
Yeah.
Why?
I did.
Did you play it?
Yeah, I tried. It wasn't good.
Did you you already had it in your family, or
No,
you
no.
were given an accordion?
I went and purchased an accordion.
So you were young Roxy on the streets of Boston,
Yeah.
just like,
It was
I'm gonna get wicked pissed at this accordion.
It was, recorder was my jam, and then I attempted the flute. It didn't go very well.
And so you went accordion.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think we probably still have it.
Jeez.
Because most kids just like get a clarinet or a trumpet.
No,
and that's where it stops.
My parents' one rule was I could start anything I wanted. I just couldn't quit anything. So I just rode everything into the ground.
So your parents were eventually so annoyed by Roxy playing the accordion.
Okay,
They were just like, Roxy, this is done.
yeah,
No,
okay,
I
you
never
can
stopped.
stop.
I never stopped. I
You
just
still play the accordion?
no. I mean, I turned 18 at some point. Like when my
And
parents.
emancipated yourself from the accordion.
Yeah, I wonder what happened.
Is that the accordion cut off?
Where's
age?
your accordion?
I'm just trying to think about it. It's probably at my dad's house because
How long did you play the accordion? Why didn't we know this?
I don't know. I am thinking about it. I was not good, and I had books on it and stuff. You guys know I've blacked out much of my life. I'll call and ask him about this.
That's like Babu Frick blacking out C-3PO's memory.
Yeah.
I'm C-3PO. That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah, Babu Frick changed your mind about accordion.
So you guys at home, vote for which Star Wars show you want to see. Is it mine, which is clearly the best, or is it one of these? Pew pew pews.
Look, I respect that all you want to see further from Star Wars is aliens doing it.
Totally.
I respect
Yeah.
that about you so much.
Because also, just be honest. Would you guys have sex with an alien? Because if
Oh, I had this conversation with somebody, and he was like, he was asking the exact same thing of if an alien came to Earth, would you have sex with an alien?
is that bestiality or is that not?
I think it's
Because they're not animals.
well, I think it would be
On the
for
anatomy of
them.
the alien.
Yeah, I think for them it would certainly be that.
Yeah.
Well, I think Donald Glover said something about this. With,
Oh yeah, during the press
it was
stuff
with
for
people
Solo.
with the pansexual Lando stuff. He was like, "There's so much stuff in the galaxy to have sex with. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you be? Open
Why would you
to it?"
limit yourself?
And I was like,
Yeah.
"Right
Yeah.
on, man."
Yeah. Billy D was really forthcoming with his just I have masculine parts, feminine parts. I'm an 80-year-old man. You know what I mean? I've done everything.
You know what?
Don't trip.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm in. You guys let us know at home. Comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends how bizarro this show is and how awesome we are. Hit that bell.
Ryan!
He's in the corner. You hear, oh.
Hey, and don't fetishize Twi'leks, guys. It's not cool.
It's not cool.
Yeah, that is the one area of Star Wars where it's problematic.
It's very problematic.
Yeah, culturally.
Let's talk about less problematic things like our fan questions. Yay!
Go fan questions.
What if there was a rancor behind one of the things?
Jeremy, Hooktail. What do you guys think? Hotchtail or Hooktail?
I think Hawktail.
Jeremy,
Hawktail.
Hooktail.
It's a glottal stop.
At JRHawk214. I've never heard that word before. What is a glottal stop?
It's,
Where you go, hog.
yeah, it's
Oh, the Jews.
yeah,
We do that.
bit.
Yeah. That's what
it's a big
that's called.
deal.
Hanukkah.
It's pretty common in the in German, and it's sort of it's a softer version of what you're thinking of. So instead of it's like a.
Oh,
It's like
I can't. I can.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's ask Jeremy's question. With the new Batmobile coming out,
really important conversations happening on this show.
with the new Batmobile coming out with the new movie, what is your favorite movie car? That's a Bostonian car for those of you guys who do not frequent Boston. And coming to you, favorite movie car.
Okay, I have a runner-up because I always break the rules. My runner-up is Blade's car from Blade 1.
It's a good car.
It is so
Very good.
bad.
It's a dope car.
Very good.
That car is bad ass, and it's just the exact sort of Batmobile a realistic person would have, which is why I love the new Batmobile, because Batman drives a car, not a tank, not a giant.
new
whatever.
Batmobile is
Frank
in for
Miller
the
drew a
Batman?
tank one time, and it just infected everybody forever with this ridiculous idea that the best thing a stealth character would do is hop up in a big fat tank that goes 45 miles an hour and roll over everybody's cars and destroy everybody's property on the way to catch a clown. No. He drives a fast car,
what about
like Tracy
yes?
Chapman. He drives a fast car. Okay, but
Fast
anyway.
enough that you could fly away.
Absolutely. But so bottom line is, but we ain't going nowhere. At the end of the song, we're not going anywhere. So the
get it.
V8 Interceptor from Mad Max, that's my favorite movie car. They destroy it every time like it's the frickin' Enterprise, too. To trap Mad Max or whatever situation the
great.
movie has,
Yeah.
so he can't just drive away in his
Yep.
fast car. They smash it every time, and every time I shed a tear for the V8 Interceptor. It's such a badass car. It's such a emblematic of a certain period of movie history.
Sure.
It's just the baddest car to me. V8 Interceptor from Mad Max.
Dang good car.
Emma, what's your car?
Well, I feel like I want to give a runner-up shout-out to Greased Lightning, just because we reference it when we do fan questions. No, but my actual answer is the Aston Martin DB5, which was first seen in Goldfinger. Yep, Goldfinger. And of course has subsequently been seen in a lot of other James Bond films, including like Thunderball and even more contemporary ones like Casino Royale and Skyfall. But to me, that is the James Bond car.
Yeah.
When I think of James Bond and I think of James Bond's car, it's the Aston Martin.
Are you a big James Bond person?
I love James Bond.
I didn't know that.
Yep. So yeah, that is my pick, is the Aston Martin DB5.
Joe?
I got a runner-up too because I'm also a rule breaker.
What is wrong with you guys?
I can't make up my mind.
Okay.
I gotta go with the Adam West Batmobile.
Oh, yes!
Nice.
I love the Adam West Batmobile.
It's
Nice.
so cool.
It's so dumb. And
I love it. So, yeah.
He gets cool. You say dumb.
Oh my God.
No, it is.
I
It's
mean
the
it, no,
dumbest
but
thing alive.
I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Like, everything about that show is so perfectly campy and over the top and silly, and it knew exactly what it was. And if you are overlooking Adam West Batman, you're missing out.
You got so many lessons in that
You're
car.
missing
The
out.
importance of buckling up.
Yes.
Oh, do you remember when he wouldn't start the car? Because Robin's like, why? We're only going a couple blocks. And he stops the car.
Yes.
Adam West
missing
stops
out.
the car and he's like, Robin.
I think there's an episode where he like tries to drive the Batmobile drunk, and it's like,
Yep.
oh my
Burt
God.
Ward, extremely underrated. Just in
Oh yeah,
general.
he's
Just in
super
general.
great on that show.
Just in general.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
great. I like your guys' cars, and you all gave runner-up, so we'll just make one of those mine. I am partial to the DeLorean. I am somebody who like wanted to one day in my life. When I was a kid watching that, I was like, one day I'll own a car that opens up like this. And
Yeah,
thought
those
that-
doors, man.
I just thought
Yeah.
that was like the coolest thing I had ever seen in person. It's not as
Yep.
yeah.
practical or cool,
Yes.
and also very short, and it's challenging to like figure out.
But you can get down into yeah.
I mean, it is a bad car
It's
in reality.
It's a horrible
but
car in reality. There's no way a DeLorean could have even accelerated to 88 miles per hour. It would fall apart.
Yeah, but my little kid brain likes it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, very dope looking.
Yes. Did you
Incredibly dope
know
looking.
that in the original first draft of Back to the Future, the DeLorean was not what the time machine was going to be. The time machine was going to be a refrigerator.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
How's a refrigerator going to go 88 miles an hour? That doesn't even make sense.
It would have been very different. This was like early.
Here's a challenge with sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
Because I think about this sometimes because you reminded me of Ender's Game. Because I think you're either in like the hyper realistic sci-fi camp, or you're in the batshit crazy Robotech Star Wars
right.
sci-fi camp, and I will always be there. You know, people, oh, well, but how does the bombs just fall in space? I don't care. I just care that it looked cool that bombs fell in space. Because the fridge, because I'm sure there were rules around like the fridge of like, well, because of relativity and time and space, blah, 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 you don't have to move this and that. And Ender's Game explored that, those books. Eventually they discovered a faster than light ship that never actually went anywhere. It just appeared in places, which, neat.
Yeah,
That's so boring.
Yeah, I'm with
so
you.
boring.
It's the difference between a book idea and a movie idea, and I think those are things that people kind of miss when they go, "No, the book was better." The book was better because your imagination did 80% of the work, dude.
Yeah.
And they were able to go down every little back alley of people's minds and stuff.
Imagine a Back to the Future where Michael J. Fox is like, "Are you telling me you put a time machine in a DeLorean? Like what? Like I can't imagine."
In a refrigerator?
Yeah, like it loses that charm and that camp and that like absurdity.
Right. Yeah, because it's like everybody has a refrigerator, and the DeLorean was meant to be this sort of luxury futuristic vehicle that just was really a horrible car.
Yeah,
I just wish they had to like maybe like the time machine's very small. I made the time machine. It's like a micro machine, so I kind of had to. The terrorists were chasing me, so I had to like place it in John DeLorean's DeLorean. So it's like he's hidden the. So it's like it can't go 88 miles an hour because all this white powder is in the car, and it's weighing it down as it throw it out, and it's like hitting people's faces and like, woo!
We've gone to a weird place. Let's get to the next fan question. That like combines like some birds and
every
prey
80s
stuff.
DeLorean was full of cocaine.
Yeah.
I'm acknowledging John DeLorean's drug dealing past.
I also just love that
know I got it.
DeLorean drives a DeLorean.
It's market stuff. Like, you think Elon Musk doesn't drive a Tesla truck sometimes?
Okay.
Alex, our fan out there, hopefully still our fan after this, at a hubcap says, movie or TV death that impacted you the most. Wow, they said TV too. That really opens up a lot of stuff. Emma, I'm coming to you first on this one. Movie or TV death that impacted you the most. No runners up, you cheaters.
Mine is a TV death, and it is a deep cut. So there is this K-drama that I like that is called Scarlet Heart Rio. It came out in 2016. And basically, it's the story of this young woman who sort of dies in the present and reincarnates into like one of her past incarnations, but with all of her like contemporary memories. It's unclear whether she dies. She like sort of drowns, but anyway. And then it's basically this reverse harem story of her, and there's all these princes in like very early Korea. So throughout there's a whole bunch of political blah blah blah. At one point in the story, the 10th prince, he basically gets married off to this woman who he just is not in love with, because of course he's in love with the main girl. They're all in love with the main girl. But eventually he and his wife, who's like a very Mulan kind of character, like she's a warrior, she's great, and she's so in love with him. And then eventually he does reciprocate her love and everything's great. And of course, either at the end of the same episode or the following episode, there's like this crazy war that's raging on right now, and they both get killed. And I was just
devastated,
sobbing. Oh my God, I was completely floored. You would think if you saw me after this that someone had just like come and murdered everyone that I personally care about. I was so invested in this.
That's storytelling magic, those moments where in a TV show or a movie, someone's like, hey, I love you so much. Everything's going to be great.
Yes.
Because then, like, 2 frames later, like, they're going to get an arrow in their throat.
Well, because...
But, like, shows and movies that can, like, get, like, stealth that past you. Oh, and then in hindsight, you're like, of course.
Yeah.
They were nice to each other a minute ago.
Within the context of the story, like, you knew that this army was coming and that this could probably happen.
But you didn't want to believe it.
Oh, it hurts so much.
Joe, coming to you. Most impactful TV movie death.
I mean, I gotta talk about all of the Autobots in Transformers the movie.
What is happening?
No, that's a big one. I'll ride with Joe on that one.
I have to.
Yeah.
I have to. Transformers movie. Big toy commercial.
It is.
Lots of little kids going to see it, including Joe Starr. And the death everybody remembers is Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime dies in Transformers the movie.
Optimus Prime has died a lot.
Optimus Prime has died many times. That was the big one. Everybody remembers that. But before Optimus Prime dies, they wipe out the entire toy line to make room for new toys. And they do so in the most Game of Thronesy, like just violent, murked up way possible. Because this is a show where no one's ever really shot each other before. It's like G.I. Joe, where it's like the lasers go by each other for a while and then the bad guys are like, let's run!
They give the illusion of a battle going on, but no one actually gets hurt.
And so, there's never really been casualties. I'm trying to fact check myself as I say that. Yeah, no, up to that point, there's never been like casualties or anything like that in the Transformers
mass
cartoon.
Murder.
And then so all of a sudden, the Decepticons, all the bad guys, like break into this Autobot ship and just waylaced to. Oh my God! Waylaced. I can't say it. They murder everybody, and not just like murder, like just like riddling them with lasers and like smoke's coming out of their eyes and mouth, like their souls are leaving their body as they fall dramatically to the ground limp. And to go from like, no one gets hurt on this show to, oh God, oh God, oh God. You never forget that.
No.
Like, that stays with you forever. It's a brutal show.
It was impactful.
It was a brutal, impactful moment.
Yeah.
All right, EG, the real one. What you got?
The
real one.
Okay, I don't have a runner-up because Roxy admonished me and laser shot me.
Yeah.
So
Message received. Roxy Striar.
Message received, Roxy. Jeez. So I think I am. Dan is not here, so I must channel Dan with my next person, and it is Quint's death in Jaws. It got me even as a kid because one thing I could understand from the first time I saw Jaws was he told a big ass story about how he was in the Navy and then he dropped the Hiroshima bomb and all this jazz, and he was in the water with sharks for days as his friends were mowed down and eaten, and that's why he'll never put on a life jacket again. He'll never do that again. And then his boat is sinking. 40 years later, his boat is sinking. He's got a stupid sheriff and a college boy on his boat. He's gone after this shark because he has this ridiculous vendetta about sharks because they ate his friends. And he dies by shark. It's like, it's not even poetic, or it's not like how George Lucas liked to have things rhyme, like things happen in multiple movies. It's like, I don't know what it is. It's too appropriate. When you let someone hurt you that bad and have real estate in your head and you dedicate your life to revenge against them, you have signed your own death warrant. You have killed yourself. They took your life and then you let them take your life.
It's such a good shorthand, like Captain Ahab almost, right? Where it's like, because I don't even know if it's like he's had this lifelong vendetta, but you have this moment where you've got to assume that before nails down the chalkboard to get everyone's attention in that meeting, he's listening to everything, and all of a sudden this guy who's just been drifting and just from bottle to bottle and boat ride to boat ride and charter to charter, like something clicks and it's like, I kill this shark, I get some closure, and it goes south immediately.
Right.
He opens up a little bit, to these two strangers, and then everything goes south.
Right.
And that's so cool. Like, that's such good storytelling.
In his last moments, he could think, oh, this only happened because I got the college boy and the sheriff on my boat. And not necessarily put it together that you're the one who smashed the radio. You're the one who decided to lead out into deeper water. You're the one who tied yourself to this freaking shark. You know what I'm saying? You're the one who precipitated all this. You're the one who didn't admit that you were overmatched. That's one of the reasons why I love No Country for Old Men and all its great deaths. Is one of the things that Tommy Lee Jones says is, look, I'm an old ass man. These new criminals are just this thing I don't understand. I feel overmatched. And he decides to stop being a police officer because he knows the next time he takes his old ass out there, he's going to get capped by somebody who doesn't have Leave It to Beaver going through their head when they're talking to cops. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get capped by somebody who has no morals. This new breed that he doesn't understand. And Quint, same thing. He thought he understood sharks. He thought he had intimate understanding of them. Yeah. But they are unknowable, dummy. They're nature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He thought he had the psychic connection to a shark that they actually try to add later in Jaws.
Yeah. So to me, it was just about, like I said, I'm getting real deep with it, but it was just, to me, as a movie death, it symbolized, number one, don't let people set up real estate in your head because you'll end up dying. Number two, when you are overmatched, admit it and get help. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And number three, there ain't no damn destiny, bro. It wasn't your destiny to save Amity from this shark. That's not necessarily what it was. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just think all those thoughts coalesce whenever I think about that death, and it really affected me, obviously.
Yeah.
I think that was such an amazing explanation of why that was.
I just got sad when robots died.
Thanks.
A lot. So we went all over the map with that one, guys. I've mentioned it a bunch of times on the show before, but nobody seems to have seen this movie. When what happens in Hardball happens, when G-Baby dies, that affected the rest of my life. That movie gutted me. It was the first time I cried in a movie as a kid. And if you guys have not seen it, I'm telling you. But I think that every time that somebody died in a like even like something as silly as Marissa Cooper dying on the OC, like realizing like what happens on shows when they like what. There were so many impactful ones. More recently, obviously, like Game of Thrones had so many of them as well. Stepmom was a big movie for me.
Yeah.
Growing up. That was.
I was also thinking My Girl.
My Girl was huge.
Oh yeah. That's the thing.
I told you guys you could have a no runner-up, so I could take all of them. I just started naming movies, guys. Let's get out of here. That was it for SJU today. The real EJ. The real EG. Wow, EJ. Now I'm giving you a whole different last name.
Ernie Johnson. I love him. He's a great broadcaster.
Where can the people keep up with you?
Just real quick, Nerd Goat podcast, obviously, and Reboot It YouTube channel. We take a crack at rebooting stuff, and it's funny that we talked about Star Wars this episode because our most popular episode with a bunch of views is us rebooting Star Wars and talking about
all of it?
stripping it all the way down. Like maybe Sheev isn't even in it. Maybe there's no Chewbacca. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like we stripped it all the way down and tried to rebuild
What you
it.
trying to do to Chewie?
No, we're not doing the Love Is Blind thing, right? So like check out Reboot It YouTube channel. Our most popular video is about us rebooting Star Wars, so it's kind of interesting that we did it. We did sort of rebooty things with Star Wars here today.
Cool. Emma?
I'm at Emma Fyffe all over the internet, wherever Emma Fyffes are sold. Check out my podcast, Not Safe for Weebs. We talk about anime and video game ships and some questionable content surrounding the pairings that we're discussing. Also, if you're like stuck in your house and you want to watch some good original Star Wars programming, Joe and I were on a Star Wars RPG many moons ago. It's called Pencils and Parsecs. It is all on Hyper RPG's YouTube channel. You can also find the links to it via my website, and I have it broken down into nice playlists on my own YouTube channel. So it's pretty good. It's some good Star Wars if you want to watch it.
Pretty good. Joe, tell the people for once where they can find you.
I mean, that's a pretty good option if you want to see Emma play a cool Mandalorian captain and me play a weird gender fluid force sensitive idiot. Yeah.
That sounds pretty on brand for you.
That's a good option. That's a real good option.
I'm everywhere at Roxy Striar, youtube.com/Roxy Striar. I have a Patreon also, patreon.com/Roxy Striar. Everything's at Roxy Striar. And most likely, we will see you tomorrow on SJU.
Nothing's guaranteed in life, Roxy.
We'll see you guys very soon.